He was a respected doctor, a cardiologist trusted with saving lives. But behind closed doors, Dr. Stephen Matthews lived a disturbing double life. He didn't just violate his oath, he violated people's lives. And when the verdict came, he didn't stand tall. He wept like a baby. But what exactly did he do? How did he go from a man of medicine to a man facing over a century behind bars? And why did it take so long for justice to catch up with him? Let's break it all down. This is the case of Dr. Stephen Matthews, once a celebrated cardiologist in Colorado, now a convicted predator. Found guilty of 35 separate charges and sentenced to 158 years in prison. Dr. Matthews built a reputation as a gifted and trusted heart doctor. To patients, he was calm, charming, and confident. But behind that persona, authorities say he used sedatives, manipulation, and his medical knowledge for one purpose: to take advantage of women. Some of these women trusted him completely. Others were barely conscious when they realized something wasn't right. Would you ever imagine that the person checking your heartbeat could be capable of something like this? Over the span of several years, Matthews was accused of drugging multiple women, sometimes at his home, sometimes under the guise of medical help. In many cases, the women reported waking up confused, disoriented, realizing something was horribly wrong.
He seemed like the perfect match, a successful cardiologist on a dating app. But women who went out with him say he was a monster who spiked their drinks and then brutally sexually assaulted them.
I got in the hot tub, and the very last thing I remember is just looking at the water and then just lights out.
Audrey, she asked that only her first name be used, says it happened on her first date with Dr. Matthews. Her mother found her at home.
She was in the shower, half clothed, and just making no sense.
After Audrey came forward to tell her story, 10 more women found the courage to accuse Dr. Matthews. Prosecutors say there are likely dozens more victims staying in the shadows. Each had the same story, waking up groggy after a first date with no recollection of what had happened.
What made the case even more disturbing was how calculated it was. Authorities uncovered text messages, hidden footage, and patterns of manipulation. Matthews often used his charm to disarm his victims, making them feel safe, even cared for, right before betraying that trust in the most personal way. When the case finally went to trial, the courtroom was filled with tension. Multiple survivors testified, some breaking down as they recalled what they experienced.
I am scarred by what happened to me that afternoon. I have been in therapy for the last 18 months. Stephen Matthews took away what normal looks like for me. I developed debilitating anxiety and PTSD when having sexual encounters, where men touching me made me tremble and cry. I don't think there are words to describe what it felt like to know that I was losing control of my ability to function and protect myself, and that there was nothing I could do to stop it from happening.
The prosecution laid out a chilling pattern: a man who used his position of power to harm, repeatedly and intentionally. But Dr. Matthews denied everything. His defense tried to paint the accusations as exaggerated, even fabricated, but the evidence was too strong, too consistent. And when the guilty verdict was read, Matthews, once confident and composed, began to cry. Was it regret, or just the realization that his secret life had finally caught up with him?
We, the jury, find the defendant, Stephen Matthews, guilty of, choose only one. It is sexual assault, incapable of appraising nature of conduct.
When Stephen Matthews heard the word guilty, he collapsed onto the table, sobbing uncontrollably. But that was just the beginning. On the day of sentencing, he walked into court knowing prison was inevitable. What he didn't expect was the staggering 158-year sentence the judge handed down.
And in here today, there is a room full of pain. And this is pain that you have caused your victims. Mr. Matthews, you have diminished this world. You have dimmed many of its lights. You've hurt our society, and it's a darker place because of you. It would be improper if you did not serve a sentence for each victim individually. The total number of years are 158 years in prison. This matter is concluded.
The weight of it crushed him. As his mother stood and gave a tearful statement, Stephen broke down, crying even harder. The reality of it all was fully setting in.
I hope that I will one day be able to hug you and see you on the other side of these walls.
But the courtroom wasn't moved by his tears. The victims made it clear they didn't care that he was crying. One victim said, "He had no mercy for us. Why should we feel sorry for him now?" Another added, "He deserves every year he got."
I don't think if he was ever allowed back out that this would be something that would stop. So a life sentence, and that's hard. I, obviously never wish that on anyone, but he's made his choices and there are consequences for that.
He will repeat this, he will do it again. It is who he is to his core. He should never be allowed to do it again.
Did you look over at him and see his reaction at all?
Yes.
What did you think?
I don't care. You did this to all of us. You took away our memory. You took away the ability to live our life carefree. I was 22 when this happened to me. I'm 24. Spent almost 2 years dealing with the trauma and stress and anxiety. So I don't care.
It's been really heavy on us too, so I can't even imagine all the victims in this as well.
Alexa and Lauren sat on the jury for the whole month and served as alternates.
It was a good wake-up call, but it was really hard to see the victims and the pain that they were enduring, and the amount of victim blaming that was happening is a really good representation of how the world is right now.
One survivor, in a powerful statement, said, "I trusted him with my health. I didn't know I was handing him control over my life." Can you imagine the betrayal? How would you feel if your own doctor had done this to someone you love? The Matthews case has now become a story about power, trust, and how appearances can be deceiving. It's a warning that predators don't always come in shadows. Sometimes they wear white coats and smile in daylight.
I know that everybody is a little bit concerned right now with what's going on, and I think that there are some things that we can do to kind of ease ourselves. One of them being making sure that every single time we kind of touch a doorknob or touch a handle, we make sure to wash our hands afterwards. That's really important. Anytime that we're thinking about eating, we should make sure that we wash our hands before we eat as well as after we eat. Other things as far as, making sure that you're not going into a group of people is going to be really important as well. It's okay to just still be around your family though, because I think at this point in time, family is really important, and you just have to take measures as far as if somebody's not feeling well, to then ask them to make sure that they try to get the care they need.
Dr. Stephen Matthews thought he was too smart to be caught, too trusted to be questioned, too respected to be stopped. But in the end, the truth caught up with him. The courtroom exposed him, and justice buried him. If you believe more stories like this need to be told, subscribe. And if you made it this far, drop a comment and watch the next video on your screen to support the channel. Thanks for watching.